Walking into a kitchen should never feel like a Tuesday morning panic attack. Most people have experienced that specific dread, where a space just feels off. Perhaps a bold backsplash from a late-night Pinterest spiral now feels like a loud mistake, or a builder-grade beige makes the entire room look like a bowl of cold oatmeal. This room is the literal heart of the home, yet it remains the place where color goes to die because the fear of a five-figure mistake is paralyzing. That anxiety is heavy. It sits in the chest while staring at 1,000 tiny paint swatches that all look identical under the flickering fluorescent lights of a hardware store. We spend so much time worrying about future resale value that we forget we actually have to live inside these four walls every single day. But a way exists to bypass that fear entirely. Certain palettes are essentially immune to the passage of time. Today, this exploration dives deep into the world of timeless kitchen color combinations that manage to feel incredibly expensive and deeply personal without ever sliding into the realm of the dated. Historical trends often trick us into believing that color is a fleeting whim. We look back at the avocado green appliances of the 70s or the Tuscan yellow kitchens of the early 2000s, and we cringe. However, the secret is that those colors were not the problem. The problem was the lack of balance and the failure to understand how light interacts with pigment. There is a persistent myth in the design world that white is the only safe choice for a kitchen. People treat white like a universal get-out-of-jail-free card, but a poorly executed white kitchen can feel as sterile and welcoming as a dental office in a suburban basement. True timelessness does not come from playing it safe. It comes from a sophisticated understanding of visual weight and the emotional resonance of a space. We are moving beyond the sterile lab look and embracing the lived-in luxury movement, where every shade feels intentional, grounded, and ready for a glass of red wine. Picture a quiet street in the Murray district, just as the sun begins to hit the limestone buildings. This combination is the ultimate antidote to the clinical white kitchen. Sage green acts as a neutral because it is pulled directly from the natural world. It is the color of a dried eucalyptus leaf or a mossy stone in a creek bed. When this soft, earthy green meets the living finish of unlacquered brass, magic happens. Unlike polished gold, which can feel a bit try-hard, unlacquered brass develops a patina over time. It gets darker, moodier, and more soulful every time your hand touches a cabinet pole. This pairing works because it balances the cool, calming energy of the green with the glowing warmth of the metal. Visualize this palette in a kitchen with high ceilings and a bit of natural light. During the golden hour, the brass will catch those long rays of sun and bounce a honey-toned glow across the sage cabinets. To elevate this look even further, consider pairing it with a creamy marble countertop that has subtle green veining. It feels organic, sophisticated, and like it has been there for a century. Deep, inky navy blue is a powerhouse in the kitchen, but it needs a partner to keep it from feeling too heavy or oppressive. This is where warm walnut wood comes into play. If navy is the sophisticated velvet suit of the design world, walnut is the perfectly broken-in leather chair. Together, they create a sense of architectural gravity. Visual weight is a concept we talk about a lot in design, and navy carries a lot of it. By placing the navy on the lower cabinets and using walnut for open shelving or a central island, the room feels grounded rather than cave-like. The rich, reddish undertones of the walnut provide a necessary contrast to the cool depths of the blue. This combination thrives in evening light. When the lamps are low and the overhead lights are dimmed, the navy softens into a charcoal shadow while the wood grain pops. It feels like a place where you would want to host a long, candlelit dinner party. Toss in some matte black hardware to keep it modern, or keep it classic with polished nickel. Forget the cold, blue-toned grays that dominated the last decade. We are talking about greige, that perfect intersection of gray and beige that feels like a warm hug. When you pair a soft, stony gray with the pale, textured beauty of sandy oak, the result is an airy sanctuary. This is the design equivalent of a linen shirt on a summer afternoon. The key here is texture. Because the color palette is so restrained, the materials have to do the heavy lifting. A kitchen with light oak floors and a gray island that looks like it was carved from a single piece of driftwood is the goal. This pairing is particularly brilliant for smaller kitchens because it reflects light without the harshness of a pure white. Morning light is the best friend of this palette. It feels crisp, clean, and energetic. To prevent it from looking washed out, add a few hits of high contrast, like a deep bronze faucet or some dark charcoal bar stools. It is a look that screams quiet luxury without ever having to raise its voice. Terracotta is often misunderstood as being too southwestern or dated, but when done correctly, it provides a rhythmic warmth that is hard to replicate. This is not the bright orange of a flower pot. This is the deep, burnt umber of a clay roof in Tuscany. By pairing such a bold, saturated earth tone with a rich, creamy white, the kitchen instantly feels like a piece of art. The cream softens the intensity of the terracotta, making it feel approachable and cozy. This is a biophilic dream, connecting the indoors to the literal earth beneath us. A terracotta-tiled floor, or perhaps a stunning terracotta backsplash composed of handmade Zellige tiles, creates a masterpiece. These tiles have slight imperfections and color variations that catch the light in a way that machine-made tiles never could. It is a textured, tactile experience. This palette loves the mid-afternoon sun, when the heat of the light intensifies the red pigments. It is the kind of kitchen that makes you want to bake bread and slow cook a stew for hours. There is a reason why this combination remains a staple in high-end design. It is the James Bond of kitchen aesthetics. Charcoal gray provides a moody, masculine backdrop that allows the dramatic veining of Carrara marble to truly shine. The gray should be deep enough to almost look black in certain lights, which creates a stunning silhouette against the bright, cool white of the stone. This is a high-contrast game that relies on the elegance of the materials. Marble is a natural stone that stays cool to the touch, making it functional for pastry work and visually refreshing. While some fear the maintenance of marble, the lived-in luxury movement embraces the etching and staining as part of the home's history. A charcoal kitchen with a massive marble island feels like a statement of intent. It is bold, architectural, and completely unapologetic. Using polished chrome hardware here adds a sharp, jewelry-like finish that ties the whole look together. It is clean, sharp, and timelessly cool. Yellow in a kitchen can be a terrifying prospect for many people. Visions of bright, sunny side-up eggs usually dance in their heads. But ochre is a different beast entirely. It is a sophisticated, golden hue that feels more like spice than fruit. When balanced with the muted, grounded nature of slate blue, the energy of the room becomes incredibly balanced. This is a classic complementary color scheme played out in their most sophisticated tones. The blue acts as a cooling agent, preventing the yellow from becoming overwhelming. A slate blue island anchored in a room with ochre accents or perhaps even ochre-painted windowsills is the perfect execution. This combination thrives in kitchens that do not get a ton of natural light because the yellow creates its own artificial sunshine. It feels cheerful but grown up. To keep it grounded, introduce elements of natural stone or dark iron. It is a palette that feels like a vacation in the Mediterranean, even if you are just making coffee on a rainy Tuesday in the suburbs. Dark green is having a massive moment, and it is easy to see why. It brings the tranquility of the forest indoors, creating a space that feels grounded and serene. But the secret to making forest green look expensive is pairing it with black soapstone. Soapstone has a silky, matte texture that is unlike any other countertop material. It feels soft to the hand and has a deep charcoal to black color that gets even better when oiled. The deep green cabinets against the dark matte stone create a moody, sophisticated atmosphere that feels incredibly private. This is the kitchen for the person who loves the feeling of a cozy library or a hidden speakeasy. Because these colors are so dark, the lighting becomes the hero of the story. Under-cabinet lighting and strategically placed sconces will highlight the depth of the green and the subtle veining in the soapstone. It is a look that feels rooted in the earth, providing a sense of stability and permanence that lighter colors often lack. Scandinavian design has taught us so much about the power of simplicity, and this pairing is the peak of that philosophy. Pale sky blue is a color that breathes. It feels like the air over a frozen lake or the first light of dawn. When you pair this ethereal blue with the clean, straight grain of light ash wood, the kitchen becomes a masterclass in minimalism. This is not a cold minimalism, however. The wood brings a necessary warmth and organic touch that keeps the blue from feeling too icy. This palette is a dream for anyone who wants their kitchen to be a place of total calm. It is the ultimate reset button for your brain. Handleless cabinets in a soft blue matte finish with an ash wood breakfast bar create an effortless flow. The lack of visual clutter combined with the soothing colors creates a space that feels effortlessly organized. This look is best served by plenty of natural light and a few green plants to provide a pop of living color. Red is a bold choice, but burgundy is a classic. It carries a sense of heritage and tradition that brighter reds lack. It is the color of aged wine and old leather books. To make burgundy feel fresh and timeless rather than heavy, pair it with a classic checkerboard floor in cream and gray stone. This creates a rhythmic pattern that draws the eye and gives the room a sense of movement. A burgundy kitchen island can act as a stunning centerpiece in a room that is otherwise quite neutral. This pairing feels like a high-end French bistro, where time slows down and the food is the star of the show. It is a playful yet sophisticated look that refuses to be ignored. Use unlacquered brass or copper pots to lean into that vintage aesthetic. The warmth of the metal complements the deep red tones perfectly. It is a daring choice that pays off in spades because it feels so deeply intentional and full of character. For those who crave a monochromatic look that is not white, the desert palette is a revelation. Sandstone is a soft, textured tan that mimics the appearance of sun-bleached rock. When layered with various shades of terracotta and clay, the kitchen becomes a study in warmth and subtle variation. This is about playing with different tones of the same family to create depth without using high contrast. It is a very architectural approach to color. Sandstone-colored cabinets with a terracotta-tiled backsplash and warm limestone floors tell a story of ancient elegance. The textures here are vital. You want matte finishes, raw woods, and perhaps some woven elements like rattan pendant lights. This look is incredibly soothing and feels like it belongs in a high-end desert retreat. It is a masterclass in tonal design, showing that you do not need bold colors to create a space that feels vibrant and full of life. Choosing a color palette for your kitchen can feel like a high-stakes gamble, but it does not have to be. The common thread among all these combinations is a respect for the natural world and an understanding of balance. We are moving away from the idea that a kitchen should look like a showroom and moving toward the idea that it should look like a home. Color is a tool for storytelling. It tells people who you are, how you live, and what you value. Whether the choice is the moody depths of forest green and soapstone, or the airy calm of sky blue and ash, the goal is to create a space that causes a visceral reaction every time the threshold is crossed. Design is not just about what looks good on a screen. It is about how a room feels when you are standing in it at 6 in the morning, waiting for the coffee to brew. It is about the way the light hits a brass handle, and the way a wood grain feels under your fingertips. The most timeless kitchens are the ones that embrace the beauty of imperfection and the richness of the human experience. They are spaces that are designed to be lived in, laughed in, and occasionally made a mess in. Do not be afraid to lean into the colors that speak to your soul. Trends will come and go like the seasons, but a well-balanced room rooted in high-quality materials and thoughtful color psychology will always be in style. Your home is a canvas, and the kitchen is its most vibrant corner. Take the risk, trust your eye, and build a space that feels like the very best version of yourself. In the end, the only rule that truly matters in design is that your home should be a reflection of the life you want to lead. Go forth and create something beautiful.